All right. Time once again for My Song, Your Song here in the GCTV podcast studio. I'm your host, Mr. Barry, and my co-host, as always, is Anna Miller. I thought we had a good couple shows so far. A little bit of Grateful Dead, a little bit of Beatles. And on your end, we had
Radiohead and Tori Amos.
Nice. Good, solid choices, right?
Yeah.
So we're continuing with our theme kind of our biggies.
Yeah.
The ones that mean the most to us, the ones that we listen to frequently, the most often. I've been a Deadhead for years. I've been a Beatles fan since I was a little kid. But in high school, I discovered Bruce Springsteen. If you remember, I told you my brother really influenced most of my music because he was 8 years older than me. He grew up in the 60s. And so I heard all that classic rock and roll. For some reason, my brother was never a Springsteen. He never gravitated towards a Springsteen. And so I didn't get Springsteen from him, which was kind of cool, you know, because it's one of the things that I finally discovered on my own as a music fan. And my friends in high school, the 80s were a really good time to be a Springsteen fan because Born in the USA was released, and it was one of the biggest albums ever. And he was touring constantly, and so, you know, we had our fill of Bruce everywhere we went. Bruce reminds me of high school. I grew up in the summers out on a beach, in a beach town. We had a little beach town house out east. And at night on the beach with the bonfire going, you know, it was Bruce Springsteen, and it was all time. And so he resonates with me so much, and I will go anywhere to see him. I have flown to see him. I have driven far to see him. Yeah. I have left work at 2:30 with Mr. Beater, drove to Philadelphia, saw the Springsteen show, drove home, you know, 2 o'clock in the morning, woke up and went to work the next day. As a songwriter, he resonates with me just completely. And so the song that I picked is from one of his monster albums, Born to Run. It is one of the best, and you seem to know a little bit about Springsteen. Do you know? You know.
What I like about Springsteen is that he's kind of like for the people. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Like the whole Born in the USA, like it's played at like 4th of July and stuff, but like you listen to the song, like
Born in the USA is an angry song.
Yeah. And like just historically, he's always been, and like you were talking about, I don't know how to put it into words, but you know, on the beach, he's just, you know, like, I guess like just a guy. I don't know.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I'd like to think
for the music.
I mean, he recently sold his catalog for, you know, $500 million, and that put him over. He's a billionaire now. Yeah. So he doesn't have any, you know, he's not a regular guy, but yet he really totally is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, he's been known to just he still lives in Jersey. He's been known to walk down to the boardwalk and just sit there on a bench, you know, and just enjoy his life. He shows up at the Stone Pony, the famous bar in Asbury Park, and sits in with bands all the time. He does seem like a very regular guy. So, and that is definitely one of the things I like about him. So the song that I chose is the opening song from Born to Run, and it's Thunder Road, which is just lyrically perfect in my eyes. So let's listen to Thunder Road. Do you know Thunder Road?
I do.
All right, good. Is this something your parents listened to, or is this something you found on your own?
It's something I found.
Nice.
The screen door slams, Mary's dress waves. Like a vision she dances across the porch as the radio plays. Roy Orbison singing for the lonely. Hey, that's me and I want you only. Don't turn me home again, I just can't face myself alone again.
To me, the lyrics,
Don't run back inside, darling,
you know, they're just perfect.
Another thing I love of him, he's just like, he's kind of universal.
Right. Right.
Anybody could like relate to him, and he's so like, not to say accessible as in like, you know, easy, but just there's so much of a reach he has. you could hear it like in his voice, like it's kind of ambiguous and the style he.
Agree completely. But at the same time, as he is completely accessible, and as he does, a lot of the themes in his songs are, you know, love, obviously, and, you know, a boy and a girl on the beach, or you know, sitting on the hood of a car, you know, in the summer, you know, drinking warm beer, and that's one of my favorite lines ever, you know, that he is so accessible, but yet the words are such poetry.
Yeah.
You know, that's what I love. It is simple rock and roll in the history, because he's a huge fan of the classic 50s, you know, rock people. Elvis Presley's his hero.
Just he does it so great.
I know. See, now Thunder Road is it's what we've been saying it is, and it's accessible, and it's about, you know, hometown America in a certain way, but it's also about getting out.
Yeah.
Like, these two characters want to leave, you know.
That's, you know, Born to Run. That's kind of the whole.
Well,
theme
right.
of
It's
the
kind of
album.
theme of the whole album
But-
was.
Again, that's just part of, like, you know, having such a wide reach, being able, like, I guess, relate to it. And the way he does it, he just puts so much, like, of himself into it, I
Yeah,
guess.
100%.
It's a town full of losers. Born out of here to win.
I mean, there you go. It's a town full of losers, and I'm pulling out of here to win. What a great line.
Yeah.
I say that so many times. You know, I'm not a writer in the musical sense. You know, I write about, you know, Disney on the website, but I hear words that he says, and it's like, God, I wish I wrote that. I wish I could put those sentiments together so beautifully in that short little way that he does.
Yeah, I definitely.
You know, it kills me sometimes. It's
Yeah.
like, wow, how do you capture that moment so perfectly in words? And then there's Clarence Clemens, the big man, that unbelievable sax player, and his best friend, the band. Yeah, it's you know, I've seen Bruce, I don't know, 40, 45 times, something like that, live. And that song takes me back instantly to his shows, to moments, usually towards the end of the show, because that's a big song. He waits, and he plays that later on in the song. Sometimes sometimes it's the last song of the night, which is amazing. But it also instantly takes me back to the beach with my friends and that bonfire that I was telling you about. Like, it's just instant. I could see all of us sitting around there at night with the stupid little cassette player playing that song, you know, and it paints a picture for me in so many different ways.
Yeah, I agree. I think it also takes me there. Not that I've, you know, been there, but, you know, it paints that kind of picture. And, yeah.
It's kind of timeless. I think it's timeless.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we're obviously, one of the points of this show is that we're completely different generations, but I want to see what musically we can connect on.
Yeah.
And I think you can, I think anybody can connect with that. You know?
Yeah.
Awesome. Great. I'm glad you like Bruce Springsteen. I didn't know that going in.
He's good.
He is. He's the boss, as they say, and I can't wait. I hope I can get to see him again real soon. So, all right. Well, it's your turn. You're up. What do you got?
Okay. So I want to start off with you were obviously really big on Bruce Springsteen's lyrics.
Yeah.
My song, you could really try with the lyrics, but Good luck. I'm doing a shoegaze song.
Shoegaze.
Shoegaze.
Shoegaze. Like shoe on my foot gaze?
It's called shoegaze because of the effect pedals they use.
Oh,
They're
okay.
gazing down.
Ah.
And it's categorized kind of like we were talking about in the first episode, kind of creating a wall of sound. You'll know it when you hear it.
All right.
This is probably my favorite album ever.
Oh. That's big.
Loveless by My Bloody Valentine. And I didn't I'd known them. I'd known about shoegaze, but I hadn't really dug into it until one day, I don't know, freshman year. I was just walking home from school one day and it came on and I was just, I don't know, I guess I was really into it. And I was like, wait, this is awesome. So I went home and I listened to the album and I listened to the rest of their discography and I discovered a bunch of other artists like Lush, Slow Dive. You might know Jesus and Mary Chain.
Yeah, of course.
They're the pioneers.
Right.
And then these guys, I don't know, they're the founding fathers, I guess.
Okay, cool.
But this album is a classic, in my opinion. But enough yapping.
Let's hear it. What do you got? Let's hear it. It's a heavy opening.
Yep. A little fact about this album completely drained the studio and they were immediately dropped.
Oh, is that right?
I think so. They were dropped at some point. And then they just couldn't follow it up. And they finally did release an album I think a little over 10 years ago, but there was a 10, maybe even 20-year break.
Really?
Yeah, because they just Kevin Shields, the frontman, he kind of just doubled down on himself. Couldn't do it.
In the studio.
In general, he just got so obsessed with it. He's kind of a perfectionist. He also developed tinnitus.
Ugh.
How loud it
That
is.
keeps happening to some of the biggies too. I'm trying to think of what this reminds me of. It reminds me of a couple of different things. That's not a female lead singer?
There are two singers. They're kind of like a duo. Kevin Shields, I was talking about, and then Belinda Butcher. They both take turns, I guess, singing and playing guitar.
Right. It's a good sound.
Yeah.
So when was this out? This is,
I think 1991.
I was going to say, this is very 90s.
Yeah. Shoegaze, it was really big, kind of in the bridge 80s, 90s. But it kind of got washed out by Britpop.
Yeah.
And it's kind of having a revival.
I can almost see these guys influencing the Britpop. Are they American?
They're Irish.
Irish.
There's a little play on.
Yeah, there's a lot going on here.
They're known for, layering guitars on guitars on guitars.
Right. Did they play live a lot, or you don't know?
It's been a while, but they do play live, and I'll tell you, I would cut off my foot to see them.
Yeah.
They're known for, their record-breaking, dangerous levels of sound.
Yeah.
Like I said, Kevin Shields, during the making of this album, not only drained the budget, but developed tinnitus. And,
Bummer.
it's just... When I listen to this album, when I listen to like shoegaze, this is the kind of stuff you turn the volume all the way up and you just like close your eyes and you really like get into it, get into the layers. You like walk into the wall of sound. And
That's a good line. That's a good line in your own right there.
yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely. Listen, the thing I do like about it too, though, as much as there are a lot of layers to it, it's guitars and drums. That's really what it's about, which is classic.
Yeah.
That's classic rock and roll.
That's why I chose
electric
this one.
guitar and a drummer. That's what you need, and they're doing that. But like you said, it's just like this kind of lush, landscape of sounds that they're creating, which is nice.
Yeah.
Once again, we got to, what we got to do, and we got to make a point about this for the next episode. So we got to print lyric sheets out.
This one, another thing about these bands, a couple shoegaze, like Cocteau Twins also do it, but then like there's some bands like Lush prints their lyrics, but they've never officially released lyrics. And I think they have been asked, but Kevin Shields is just like, he forgot. So he's known for being like goofy, like as much as he is, a genius.
Right.
In my opinion.
Interesting. Yeah, because I'd like to hear what they have to say.
I kind of like that though. That it's like
That's a mystery.
yeah.
Are
Again,
the fans all trying to figure out what it is.
Oh, there's so many online. There's a lot of stuff, and he said like most of it is wrong. So
Oh God.
like as much as the curiosity, like I want to know, I do kind of like that element. Like it just adds to the whole atmosphere.
Yeah. Excellent. Well, good. Nice choice, man. That was different. I like that. It definitely. Now that took me back to '90s, early '90s. Before I was here, I was working in the city at VH1, and that's back when VH1 was playing music, and we would get all these new bands coming out, and they would just hand out CDs to us and all that because it was a music channel.
Yeah.
And I thought there was a lot of great music coming out in that time. And the early '90s were really cool. And so that band reminded me instantly. I was like, I know where this band came from, time wise. I could tell.
Yeah, I love it when there's just like time capsules, like in music. But at the same time, like their influence is everywhere because they kind of did something that nobody else had done before. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, and again, there's kind of like a shoegaze revival, like as we speak.
Really?
Yeah. And then there's also been all sorts of like subgenres to come out of it. Yeah, they're great.
How are your contemporaries and how are they finding their music right now? Like how's someone finding that? Is it word of mouth online, obviously? And then someone finds that. Is it Spotify? Is it I don't really know how you guys are finding this stuff now.
I can't say I know either. I guess just through a lot of recommendations, and then obviously like online, there's a lot of stuff like, oh, this is really good, check it out. If you like this, try this.
Right. Which is kind of how it used to be.
Yeah.
Except we had radio stations and we had MTV. But you guys don't have that.
Yeah. This one was my first CD though, and it does sound good on physical.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice. All right, cool. Good episode. We're at the 20-minute mark, so I think we covered some good stuff today.
Yeah.
It's not the last Springsteen song I'm going to play on this series, that's for sure. So, and I'm glad you clicked with that. And you turned me on to someone else, which is the whole point. So, once again, here in the GCTV podcast studio, my voice is starting to get scratchy. This is Mr. Barry from My Song, Your Song, and my host,
Anna Miller.
Anna Miller. And thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.